Okay, what if I told you that a major retailer was sitting on a $100 million problem and the culprit was hiding in plain sight, right inside the emails they were sending out every single day? Well, today we're going to crack open a case study on a costly mistake that, honestly, a lot of businesses are probably making right now. I know. It sounds completely backward, doesn't it? We're all taught that more is more. More sends equals more sales. But what if the data tells a completely different, kind of shocking story? What if the key to unlocking some serious growth is to actually pump the brakes a little? So our story here starts with a pretty simple question a major retailer asked itself. Hey, are our daily emails, actually working? And the answer they found? Whoa. It didn't just surprise them. It pretty much turned their entire marketing strategy completely upside down. So the first clue in this whole investigation seemed almost, well, too simple. It wasn't about what they were sending, but when they were sending it. And let me tell you, the data on timing was crystal clear. And when I say clear, I mean it was incredibly consistent. It didn't matter what kind of customer we're talking about, new ones, old ones, people who hadn't bought in forever, you name it. Sending emails on the weekend got them a 40 to 70% higher click-to-open rate. That's a huge universal lift. You start to see a powerful pattern emerging right away. Just by taking their worst-performing weekday emails and shifting them to the weekend, this company could unlock an estimated, get this, $14 million a year. Easy win, right? Case closed. But if you think that's the end of the story, you are way off. This was just the tiniest tip of the iceberg. And this is where our investigation takes a really sharp turn. Because the real mind-blowing discovery wasn't about timing at all. It was about who they were sending these emails to and how they were completely misreading the signals their customers were giving them. The common wisdom in marketing, the thing we're all told, is to focus on your engaged customers, the folks who just bought something. But the data showed this is a really, really misleading label. The true signal that a customer is ready to buy isn't their purchase history. It's what they did on your website in the last 24 hours. Let's just look at the raw data, because this is wild. Take a customer they called engaged, who hadn't been on the site recently. Their click rate is a measly 1.4%. Now, look at a lost customer, someone who hasn't bought in over a year, but they just browsed a product. Their click rate is an incredible 98%. Just let that sink in for a second. That's right. 68 times. A customer you've basically written off as lost is, in that moment, 68 times more valuable than a customer you've been labeling as one of your best. This single insight changes absolutely everything. It proves that recent behavior isn't just a signal, it's the only signal that really matters. So, armed with this bombshell of an insight, the investigation turned to the next big question. Okay, how big is this problem really? Where is the company actually spending all its time and money? The answer was just staggering. Just look at this. A massive 96% of the company's millions of daily emails were going to customers who had shown zero recent activity on their site. They were essentially just shouting into an empty room. Only a tiny 4% of their effort was aimed at people who were actually on the site, browsing. So what was the result of all that effort? Well, that 96% of emails sent to those inactive users, it generated only a quarter of the clicks. Meanwhile, that tiny little 4% of emails they sent to active users, that generated a whopping 75% of all the clicks. The imbalance between the effort they were putting in and the reward they were getting out is it's almost hard to wrap your head around. But here's the kicker. This strategy wasn't just inefficient. It was actually damaging the business. By just bombarding these inactive users, they were creating email fatigue and basically burning out their audience for almost nothing in return. And this right here, this is the smoking gun. For every 1,000 emails they sent to an active customer who was browsing, the company made over $2,700. Not bad. But for every 1,000 emails sent to an inactive customer, just $22. It's not just a gap, it's a canyon. This quote from the analysis just sums it all up perfectly. Can you imagine the resources, the cost, the risk to your deliverability, all for an activity that is over 120 times less efficient? It is a textbook definition of a broken system. So, the case is closed. The verdict is in. The problem isn't the emails themselves, it's the entire strategy driving them. But the good news is, with a clear verdict comes a clear path forward. a playbook for how to fix it. Their real prize here isn't the $14 million from just changing the Sundays. That was just an appetizer. It's the nearly $100 million opportunity that's just waiting to be unlocked. And how do you get it? By dramatically cutting the sends to inactive users and reallocating all that wasted effort toward the customers who are literally raising their hands and showing you they're ready to buy. And here it is, the 4-step playbook to make it happen. First, grab that easy win. Shift those weekday emails to the weekend. Second, prioritize behavior over those useless labels by building automated emails that trigger when someone browses or adds to their cart. Third, and this is the big one, be brave enough to suppress the inactive list. Just cut that volume by at least 25%. And finally, reallocate all that time and energy away from those generic mass emails and pour it into building those high-performing, behavior-based automations. You know, when you really look at it, this whole investigation forces us all to ask a fundamentally different question. Instead of chasing volume, we should be chasing precision. It's not about sending more, it's about sending smarter, sending less, and sending only when it truly, truly matters. And that simple shift in mindset, well, it might just be worth $100 million.